You say you're looking for the hottest music and the best radio shows from around the world? Then there's only one place you should be listening. Firebrand Radio, where quality is guaranteed.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
I'm a pretty good guy, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much fun we can have together.
Geez, without slippy flippies or angry masturbating, I don't see how that's possible.
Welcome to Doc's Group Therapy. Because if rock and roll is a disease, why not get the best doctor that beer and hookers can buy?
What are the rules? There's only one rule. Are you ready? Here it is. There are no rules. Go!
Today, live with Doc Firebrand, it is none other than the Mustangs, the Milkman, and his own solo artist, Adam Norsworthy. Hey folks, you are tuning to Firebrand Radio. This is Doc Firebrand, Rick Palin, as per usual. Special guest time tonight. And on video, as you can see, I have a gentleman on the other side of the room with guitars in the background and a brand new album, Infinite Hotel, just come out. Adam Norsworthy, how are you doing?
All right, Rick. Nice to see you, as usual. How are you doing?
I'm very well, my friend. I'm very well. Infinite Hotel. Wow. What an album. I mean, like seriously. You've always managed to impress me with, I mean, Rainbird, Circus Moon, and now this one has just blown those other two out of the water.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So, quite literally, where did the idea for this album come from? Because it's not as folky as the last one.
No, it's not. It's well, again, it was produced by Wayne Proctor, ex of King, and sort of, producer extraordinaire kind of on the blues scene. He's done Ben Poole, we were just talking about, and we've talked about opening the sound up and making it bigger for a long time. So I love folk music, and that's a big part of what I do, and there are folky elements to some of this album, but we thought it would be great to just because a lot of the times I play all the instruments on my albums, but this time we got Ollie Brown and Bennett Holland in, and Rich Young and Amy Haggett, and Wayne's on it as well. So we've got these fabulous musicians coming on and contributing, but we also wanted the sound to be more epic. We wanted it to be warm and emotional, but big and epic as well. So we've kind of gone for that. So in that respect, it's one of those records the louder you turn it up, the kind of bigger and better it sounds, I hope. So that's where the idea came from. It's just something we'd wanted to do for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you look at, the lead single was "Bridges to the Moon," wasn't it? The first track of the album.
That's the first track on the album. The first single was "In Time I Will Forget You," but both of those were the two singles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. That's a hell of a track to open an album with. It really is. It's a massive track.
It's a massive track. Yeah, it is. And I love it. And it couldn't go anywhere else. It has to sort of, but it also sets the scene for the sort of tone of the album and the philosophy of the album, which, the whole concept of Infinite Hotel is, it sounds a bit pretentious. And of course it is a bit pretentious, but, a lot of music is, and that's okay. It's fun to sort of, be a bit like that sometimes. But the idea behind Infinite Hotel is the idea that the world is going to hell in a handcart, like we see every day in the news, and you have these billionaire impresarios kind of building rockets and looking for life on other planets, or looking for other worlds to live on, and at some point somebody is going to have to do that. These people get criticized. Why aren't we taking care of the planet down here? Well, at some point we will have to leave this planet, and we will have to inhabit other planets. And the whole philosophy behind Infinite Hotel is an environmental one. But it's not just the insularity of looking at what's happening here. It's the more broader perspective of looking at the universe and thinking, well, actually our future home is out there somewhere. And it might be that we'll have to hop from planet to planet as the deep time passes, as the billions of years pass. And so each planet becomes a sort of temporary hotel, and this goes on for infinity. You know, this is kind of the concept behind Infinite Hotel. It's a sort of nod to environmentalism, the state of the world, but also a more positive outlook, for a philosophically positive outlook for deep space time, when we will have long gone from this planet. I told you it was pretentious, and I wasn't wrong.
Well, put it one way, all we needed a bit to add to that was a bit of Terry Pratchett style humor with it. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
No, but I seriously agree with you. When you're looking at sort of people like Elon Musk, for example, who's developing a lot of his finances into researching that exact possibility.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the great explorers in history, I'm sure many of them were called mad or nuts, or, you know, at the time. But somebody has to break that seal at some point, and these people are the people doing it now. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they are the people who are breaking that seal of exploration, and it needs to be done. You know, whether it's done now or in 500 years, it will be done. And actually, it's probably the sooner the better that we get on with it. And I think those people understand that, and that's why they're doing it.
I couldn't agree more. It's been a couple of years. So, I mean, what was Circus Moon 2017?
2018, 4 years ago, actually.
Yeah, 2018. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Long time. Been a while between the albums. Now, obviously,
a lot's happened. Yeah.
A lot's happened in the world. You know, unfortunately, we ended up with the COVID situation. Yeah. Now, how has that affected you as a person with it, as a musician? Because the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of the populace out there, you know, the punters, the listeners, whatever, they think a musician's life is great. They just carry on and everything's normal. Well, it hasn't been, has it? I mean, compared to the entire industry, what's going on at the moment.
But you know, I lost my dad just before COVID hit, and then I lost my mum to COVID within the space of 4 months. So actually, when COVID hit, I was in a different place entirely. You know, the virus was one issue, but I was dealing with other things as well. But you know, when you're in that kind of place, you know, and I have a studio here at home, so I threw myself into work. You know, I used all the stuff going on in my head, and I channeled it into the music. And that's one of the wonderful things about music. It can be very cathartic. It can be a retreat, and it can help. And because my mum was a musician and my dad was a writer and loved words, you know, when I write songs, I'm bringing together elements of what they gave me genetically, you know, and so it's kind of you know, and obviously, you know, the things you're going through kind of inform the songs you write. So there's a lot of what was going on with that in the music, but then from a particularly from just a COVID point of view, I mean, it was horrendous for us all, because we all cancelled loads of gigs. All the venues were struggling, the promoters were struggling, the whole industry was on its knees. And we would do, you know, I did a few online shows, which I didn't really enjoy doing because I like being in front of an audience. I did a few online interviews and things like that. I was doing a sort of weekly kind of songs from the bunker just to keep my hand in and just.
Yeah, well, that was a question. What's happened to Rock Records Review? Because that actually became quite popular.
Oh, well, that's a different thing. No, Rock Records Reviewed is more popular than ever. That's still going. It's so popular now, I don't need to post it on Facebook. So if you want to find it, it's still there. It's good. But the Songs from the Bunker was just a weekly sort of song or guitar solo I'd play and post on Facebook, you know, just to sort of keep entertaining and keep playing and stuff. But then I also did the NHS albums with Mike Rivers and Mark Eade. And we got together loads of musicians on the scene to do we did end up doing 4 compilations to raise money for NHS frontline workers, and we made thousands of pounds. So that was, you know, it was just about keeping busy and just getting your head down on with whatever you could until it was past. And hopefully it's past now, but you know, who knows?
Well, who knows? But I mean, one of the things that was clearly evident was Richmond Riverside Festival last year. The expression on all your guys' faces at just being back on stage was phenomenal.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a great gig, that, because we were back on stage, like you say, but also, it was a lovely sunny weekend. We were in a beautiful spot by the river. There was a packed crowd. It wasn't just us who was thrilled to be there. You could tell the whole crowd was thrilled to be out. And there's video online of that show, and it's nuts. People going crazy. And it was a really, really lovely weekend and a great couple of gigs. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's always a phenomenal event at Richmond Riverside is, and I mean that's all down and thanks to, again, a person you mentioned earlier, Mike Rivers and the Crawdaddy organization. They do a fantastic job there.
Yeah, he's not that well at the moment, Mike. So
I know. I'm sorry to hear about it. I keep checking in on him.
Much love to you, Mike, if you're watching this.
Yeah, and from me as well, Mike. It's been a while since Carlitos, was it?
Carlitos, that's right. Yeah. Carlitos,
hopefully catch up again soon. But anyway, back to the album.
Yeah.
I always look, when I listen to an album, I always try to find where people have drawn their influences from. But in my own way, I think, I'll pick on, for example, one of my bands, the Autumn Killers, have a new single out, but it's very heavily influenced by early U2 and Simple Minds.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there trying to find out where the influence for this came from. And like the Circus Moon, I can't find a damn thing. I can't.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think and I hope that I'm influenced by so many things that it all comes together in a blend, which is actually kind of unique and sounds like me. But I love melody, and my love of melody comes from the Beatles, and my love of harmony and that kind of stuff. And of course I love the blues. So you'll hear blues guitar licks all over the album. So you might have a song which is not traditionally a blues song, but it will have loads of blues licks all over it if you listen. So and folk music, of course, I love, Dylan and Neil Young and stuff like that. And Bowie's a huge influence, on just kind of on a sort of sonic level and perhaps on a singing level a bit as well. But I'm kind of influenced by everything in a way, even stuff I don't necessarily listen to. If I just hear something that I feel is right for the song, I'll throw it in. So, for example, the second song on the album is kind of an electro blues song. But I think it works, I love it. And it finishes with this big blues solo, but it starts with this kind of, synthesizer riff. And, but it's lovely to sort of blend those things together. And that's kind of, we've done that throughout the album. If you listen carefully, blending kind of modern stuff with traditional folk and blues instruments. And that, again, that's that blend of kind of, introversion and earthbound stuff combined with a kind of space age, technology and ideal. It just, things come together that way sometimes, and that's how it seems with this record, which is nice.
And what's the plan for this album? Obviously it is just released today. We're hoping for 1 million unit sales within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been nominated for 12 Grammys. I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show. You know what? My solo career, which is a very grand word for what my solo thing is. It's such a sort of cottage industry compared to, the Milkmen and the Mustangs now. I don't have huge ambitions for it. I just love making the records, and I love it when people do listen to it or buy it and enjoy it. That's very gratifying. So, my expectations are nothing other than it's out there and I want people to listen to it. And that's cool. That's absolutely fine. Because, as far as I will be doing some solo shows, But you know, a lot of the year is taken up with Mustangs and Milkman stuff, you know, and that's, you know, and that's where the big crowds and the big sales come in, and that's cool. I'm happy with all of that. And
yeah,
but
no,
I love,
it'd actually be nice to see this album being toured.
well, it would be great. I'd love to get those musicians together, you know, to tour them, but you know, they're all very, very busy, and you know, they don't come cheap either. So it's I wouldn't say it was impossible for the odd one you know, one-off gig here and there, but I as far as a full tour with Ollie and Bennett and Wayne goes, I'm not sure that's on the cards in a hurry. But who knows? I'll tell you what, if I did get offered the halftime show, I bet you bottom dollar they'd all drop what they were doing and come and do it with me.
Yeah, I bet we would.
Yeah,
but you'd probably be overshadowed by the new Batman trailer.
Who do I call? Who do I need to call to get the halftime show?
It's actually, I have that sort of information to hand.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Long story, I'll tell you about it another time. But yeah, no, like I say, you'd be overshadowed by the halftime trailer for The Batman, which also comes out today.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll be watching that tonight.
Very, very dark it looks too.
Yes, and very good it is, apparently. But yeah, what I'm going to do is we're obviously going to play a couple of tracks from the album.
Yeah.
With this interview. But normally I would pick them myself, but this time I'm not going to. You are.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if you've well, Bridges to the Moon is a good one, and we'll play the first two. Yeah, play Bridges to the Moon, and then play Now I've Got Your Love, and see what people think.
Yeah, I was gonna sort of hope for something a bit more adventurous than that, but yeah, look.
Okay, all right, a bit more adventurous. Okay, we'll play something by the Mahu Vishnu Orchestra. No, all right, we'll play You're My Song is nice, and I May Not Be Here in the Morning. Those are nice too. Do you know what? Just play the whole goddamn album.
That sounds like a plan. Actually, there is one thing I'm also going to do, and this is personal to me.
Okay.
But as you know, a few years ago,
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
No, I wasn't going to do that. But as you know, a few years ago, I lost my father to cancer. And at the funeral, I actually used one of your tracks.
Yes.
If you remember.
I do.
I'm actually going to tag that to it as well.
Well, I'm honoured.
Because
at the time.
That album was something that was going through my head constantly at the time, because I was also working the album at the time as well. And it just struck a chord with me. So I'm going to add that to the show as a sort of testament to my old man. But what's next? What's coming up next? Before we started this interview, you mentioned about Swanage tonight.
Swanage. Well, when's this going out?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Well, I've just done Swanage then. It was brilliant. It was absolutely rammed. Oh my God. We did so many encores, Rick, I can't tell you. And it just, you know, and somebody came up to us and said, you should do the Super Bowl halftime show. And it was, Swanage is always great. So hopefully it's going to be great. Well, we're recording this on the Friday. It's going out on the Tuesday. So
actually, folks, yeah, this is a little known secret that's not known about the album, but if you actually spin the CD backwards, you can time travel. This is actually being recorded live on Tuesday.
Yes.
But last Friday.
Yeah. We're in a wormhole, in a vortex of.
Yeah, we create our own wormhole, you know, do the job. You know, it's kind of funny because, you know, the last time I saw you was on a cold, damp night outside Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Yes.
When you and the rest of the gang leaped up on me from behind and nearly made me lose my own hair or bowels, I'm not sure which.
oh no. So yeah, what's coming up? We've got lots of shows. The Milkmen are out a lot this year. That, you know, we're working on a new album, which is going to be out in late spring, early summer, and we're excited about it. It's a good one, we think. And you know, the Milkmen's trajectory seems to be sort of really just like this, which is great. You know, it's really it's lovely to just pick up so many followers and fans, and the shows are just sold. Every show now is sold out, which is wonderful.
Well,
so that's great. And we're doing festivals all through the year. We're doing Cambridge, we're playing Liverpool, we're doing all sorts of things, and the Mustangs are still playing. I mean, it's slightly different situation with the Mustangs because Derek is a little bit older, and COVID is a concern for him. So we're still sort of trying to sort of find our feet with where we're going to be with the situation with Derek getting out there and playing and everything. So we've backed off a little bit, but there's still some shows we're doing. We're playing this weekend, and can't wait.
It's funny you mention that about the Milkman being on a very sort of steep slope in terms of rise of performances and everything else. And it's clearly evident that every performance I've ever seen the band do, and I'm going to mention this, as I mentioned this before the interview, the Nantwich Food Festival a couple of years ago, every band that was on that stage, that on a converted car park, everybody was sitting there looking at their food, at the vents in the bloody wooden tables, whatever. You guys came on, everybody was up dancing. Now,
well, they'd all finished their food by then.
No, but seriously, that's the effect the band has. I've seen it done with you guys so many times. In fact, when you did Richmond Riverside, I was worried that we'd have to get ambulances with Zimmer frames for all the 80-year-olds bopping around in front of the stage. Phil loved it. Yeah.
They do. Well, look, the Milkman's a great band. It's, and we've got Jamie out front, and he's a brilliant front man. He's just really, really got better and better with every gig, and he's just got that kind of frontman personality that people love. It's one thing being a singer kind of stuck behind a guitar and playing earnestly and giving it everything, but it's great to have somebody who comes on in this ridiculous velvet jacket and is happy to prance and preen around the stage, a bit like, cross between sort of Freddie Mercury and Bon Scott and Lee Brillo and all these fabulous frontmen. And Jamie has that kind of, deep knowledge and of those kind of frontmen. He's copied them all his life. I know, because we've been mates since we were 11, and he's studied them, and he's often mimicked them before he was ever in a band, for a laugh. And now he gets to do it on stage in front of, packed houses, and it's great to watch him doing it. I love it. But the band is really good. The players are great. Mike and Lloyd, are really, really hot players, and we gel together brilliantly. And you can feel when there's a momentum building with something. And that's absolutely the case with the Milkman. We get messages every day from people all over the world who have heard our music and somehow and love it and want to know when we're coming to play in Croatia or Finland or Brazil or wherever, and it's that's very, very exciting to be a part of, and it's because, when you have four creative, passionate, driven people pulling together in the same direction, you can make things happen, and that's what we have with the Milkman, which is lovely.
And on that note, I'm going to say, where can people find out about the album, Adam?
Well, people can hear Infinite Hotel all over the internet. They can get it from Spotify. You can buy it from Amazon, iTunes, all the usual places. If you want to get a signed CD with a free bonus disc, you can go to my website, which is www.adamandnorsworthy.co.uk.
See, that again, perfect. We're going to have to cut it short here because obviously we've got to fit some tunes in for the show.
Yeah. And
as mentioned before, Ben Poole is coming up later as well. So
say hi to him for me.
Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. And good luck with what is absolutely a phenomenal album.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rick. Good luck to you too. Thank you.